Hello, everybody, and welcome to the EDRS Cup Series. EDRS Cup Series, the EDRS Indycar Series here at Phoenix, and C-Sports coverage of qualifying at Phoenix. I'm always impartial, and I'm joined by the creator and Fennec. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Doing good.
Doing great. Happy to have you guys here today at Phoenix.
Yep, happy to be here. So before the drivers get started, we just want to go over a few things. Update everybody at home who may not be updated. So starting off with our most recent winner, if we can get that graphic up in a second. From Detroit, I believe that was
Drift, yep. Drift raced for, or is racing for DDP Racing. They won at Detroit by a huge margin after a long series of cautions towards the end. He was able to pull off a 14 second winning margin there. And right now, if we go to our championship point standings, that amazing race got him only 4 points behind Cam after he was 20 points behind last week. So big movements for Drift. And can Cam hold off Drift as we get towards the end of the EDRS IndyCar season?
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to find out, especially considering that Cam, I don't believe he is here today. We'll see if Cam can't extend that points gap, maybe with a pole position.
Yeah.
But other than that, not much Cam can do.
And if we go to our schedule here, you could see that we are currently around 6 after some mishaps with the schedule. We are at Phoenix, which you can see is round 6, which technically is, I believe, round 7 at the moment. Round 6 was Detroit, after we had to do some workarounds. Next weekend should be Milwaukee there, round 8, but lots of time to go. We're around only halfway through, maybe over halfway through, with a lot of racing left in this championship series.
Yep, and a lot of opportunities for Cam and Drift to either extend the gap or close the gap, depending on who you are. And if I'm Drift, definitely I want to be trying to get at least a pole position.
Yep, and if we go to our qualifying format for today, 18 cars, 2 laps, no resets, reversed the championship order, and 45 minutes of total qualifying time for a single session.
Yep, and for fast lane, the driver gets to skip the queue. However, they lose any lap they set before. And in slow lane, the driver must wait longer. However, they don't lose their previous lap time. So it's going to be interesting to see how those guys go about doing that.
And let's go back to the field right now as drivers are getting ready to start qualifying here. Let's go to the 10 here. I believe this is Blob driving this black and red IndyCar here. I believe we are about to get going. Anything you'd like to say before we start in practical?
Nothing except the logo on the sides of his car kind of remind me of the Australian ABC news station logo with how it looks.
Yeah, let's go to second here. We have Dursert and that number 9 IndyCar 5th, third sponsor. I really like the colors on this one. I like a nice green and blue gradient there he has on the front and back. We'll see what Dursert can do. I believe they're somewhere in that top 5 in championship standings if we go back to that. No, they aren't. They're going to have to do some work to claw back into the top 5. They have been here since the first race at St. Petersburg, so they definitely have not started the events.
While Blob getting started with his outlap, we'll see if he can't try and claw back some of the gap towards the guys in front of him in the championship standings with his result. And even tomorrow, too.
Yep. Here it comes through the dogleg at Phoenix. This is a very, very complex track. If we go to our track layouts, you can see that it is just over a mile. 4 corners, 200 laps is the race length. The average qualifying time we're going to see is around 23.5 seconds. And the average race lap time is 0.5 faster at 24.
That would be 0.5 slower at a 24-second lap.
I'm sorry, my bad.
Anyways, Blob goes fastest with a 24.3, just 0.2, I believe, off of that race time.
Yeah,
But that's only his first lap.
Yeah, still slow compared to that average qualifying time as he comes through the backstretch to the dogleg. Like we're saying, very complex track layout. The start-finish line is actually on turns 3 and 4 coming to the front stretch, which we see now. And he does not improve. 24.367 for Blob.
We'll see how the other drivers react to that, and we'll see if anybody else can go faster. Yep, and unlike the NASCAR Cup Series, where as you come into the front stretch and you want to try to clip the finish line right before the actual line, guys are gonna. Wait, am I looking at the right spot? Let's see as we spectate. Desert.
At Durser in turns 1 and 2. And if we look at their
I think that was.
Yeah, I think it is. If we look at their
Yeah.
in-car cam sponsored by Fifth Third, you can see how they're moving their wheel around as they work their way through the front stretch in turns 1 and 2. It is a short track like many of the ovals here in the IndyCar series. They're getting really close to that wall.
Yeah, and I was talking about the right spot. So right at the start-finish line, most NASCAR Cup Series drivers will try to go under the yellow line there, but that's not the case in IndyCar, as Desert goes second fastest, a 25.067.
And yeah, maybe some updates with the setups here. Maybe that qualifying average time we'll see is around 24.5 seconds, contrary to the 23.5 seconds we're seeing on the graphic. Next up to qualify should be Mabel here.
Yeah. Abel, he was really quick last week. We'll see if he can't try and keep that momentum up this week.
Mabel in the 11, bright hot pink and white cars. They come to their first qualifying lap.
Yeah. Notice that these guys are setting 16-minute laps on their out laps. That's because before the session, and even before the stream, they do get some final practice in just to make sure they have their lines down, make sure everything's good. As Mabel goes fastest with a 24.350. Same thing with Blob's lap. He's just a bit faster, I believe. Yeah. Or rather a bit slower than the race pace lap. So we'll see how that develops.
And no improvement for Mabel in that second lap for them. Last but not least, the qualifies our championship points leader, Cam. And Cam won the Indy 500 just a few weeks ago.
And then I just gotta say, that's a beautiful looking scheme that Cam has today.
Yep.
I like the red, white, and black.
And we will see if they are able to get the pole here at Phoenix through the dogleg coming to their time lap. And like you were saying, contrary to NASCAR, you cannot cross below the yellow line in IndyCar. And the pit entry rules are also a bit different from how stock car racing does it here through the backstretch. In their first lap, it's looking pretty fast so far.
We'll see as he crosses the line. It's going to be a 23.9. Little bit slow, about 4/10 off of that average qualifying time, but he has another lap. We'll see if he can improve on it.
Yeah, and I think as I come across to the dogleg here, they might improve a little bit. This lap's looking fast as well. And yeah,
Yep, 23.9 flat.
I believe that'll be it for now. Do a bit more waiting, see if anybody else will attempt a qualifying lap. Looks like we have a few more people here, like Maverick and Glenn. And we will be right back. We're qualifying the EDRS IndyCar Series Round 7 here at Phoenix.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to EDRS IndyCar Racing here at Phoenix for qualifying and see media's coverage of said session.
Yep, and we are doing reruns at the moment. We have a few more people who are going to attempt laps. So here comes Cam on their rerun attempts, coming to their first lap.
Previously, Cam set the pole setting lap with a 23.9, so we'll see if he can't try to set a faster lap than that.
A little understeer as they get very, very, very tight through that corner, almost getting into the wall. Kept under control. Here they come through turns 3 and 4 to the line. They do improve.
Beautiful transition. Beautiful transition from the wall to from the bottom of the corner to the wall, off of 3, I believe it was, or off of 2 rather. Like you said, they did improve to a 23.6.
See if they can do any more improvement here, getting a little tight again through 3 and 4. And they do 23.533 now for Cam after an amazing second lap. And they are right around that average qualifying pace now.
Yep, as you said, these are the laps we're looking for here in qualifying. Beautiful lap from Cam there.
And
from
back
Cam.
to our next driver to attempt, it's going to be Mr. Jam. And that 71C Sports Indycar.
Yeah, this is my favorite car, I've got to say.
Yeah, definitely my favorite as well.
Yeah, definitely getting us some of that sponsorship for that on-air time.
In all seriousness, this is a really, really nice scheme made by Mr. Jam here. I've not seen them attempt much races so far this season as they slam into the wall there. Turns 1 and 2 on their outlap.
Yeah. Yep, not quite what you want to do there. But unfortunately, for Mr. Jam, that's what happened.
And now qualifying lap for him, looking decently fast, and he gets into the wall again.
It's the wall off of, I believe that was 2. See if that affects his time or not.
He's going to start risking those right side tires if he makes any more contact. And 25.933, really slow on his first attempt.
Yeah, but as we've said earlier in the broadcast, these guys have 2 laps. It's getting extremely close to the wall there.
Yeah, he got tight just like Cam, but Cam kept it more under control. You could hear those tires skidding on the track as he exited turn 2 to the line. No improvement.
Yep, and we'll see who our next driver to qualify is. I believe, as you said before, Glenn and one other person was here.
Yep, I believe next we might have Blob or Mabel. Maybe a few more people are going to join. Race day, we may expect more drivers than this, as right now we'll see if any of these drivers can improve to beat Cam's time. Mabel's the only one who's come slightly close. However, they're still
Good half a second
so.
back.
Yeah, 5 to 8/10ths back.
And as we wait for our next driver, let me ask you, who do you think is going to qualify pole?
I think Cam's got it. They're the most experienced driver here. Best in points, if we go back to that graphic. I think Mabel's the only other driver who's here currently who's even on the board. Right now, Mabel 17 points behind Cam in the championship standings after a good race last week. However, I don't think that'll be enough as Cam gets... If Cam even races a few more times and does well, I think they got this championship locked in. You can see Hydra, Dom are both not here, so that's going to have some implications.
Yeah, if they... And as Blob starts his second qualifying laps,
Yep.
getting really close to that yellow line off of the finish turn.
Comes to 1 and 2.
Yep, up high, he makes contact with the wall. I don't think that really affected his lap, though.
Yeah, not really. You see that in-car cam presented by C Sports with that number 10 red and black IndyCar as he comes through turns 1 and 2 once again. And you have to be good on the throttle, good on the brakes, avoid getting into the wall, and he's much better that time around 1 and 2.
Now, coming up to the line, what's it gonna be? No improvement from Blob there.
Looks like he was a little too heavy on the brakes for too long and 1 and 2 didn't get enough momentum on the exit. And I believe our last attempt will be Mabel. Mr. Jam might be running a rerun as well after his first attempt. And here comes Mabel out in that 11 car.
Up racing for RDH Racing. He's been one of the faster competitors throughout the last few races.
As we look at that Lapo Global in-car cam. Qualifying attempt here.
You see him trying to fight the wheel to stay to the left, just to try to get as close to that yellow line without crossing it as possible.
And here it comes into turns 1 and 2, really low and smooth through the dog leg, exiting to the line, no improvement.
The tiniest bit of contact before the line with the wall, but that didn't really affect his lap there.
Yeah.
He does have one more lap, I believe. So he's gonna try to.
Yeah, a little
Gonna
too
try.
low.
He's gonna try to improve it, but I doubt he's gonna be able to.
More contact in. Cannot beat the 24.350 time he got last time around, and I believe Mr. Jam's gonna go ahead and go. For a rerun, and that's C Sports IndyCar.
Yep, there he goes. At the slowest lap time in the previous set of laps, 25.9.
Yeah, that
believe he
qualifying
did.
attempt was like his practice run.
Oh. What is? Faster. That previous saw. But onto his first time lap. Like get high next to the wall going out of 2, but he doesn't make contact with it. So that is probably going to help him out here.
Yep, let's go to C Sports IndyCar cam. Let's see how he controls the car on this lap through the front stretch. It's a downshift in the beginning of the corner, and then he's just too heavy on the brakes.
Yep, just getting that left front suspension, or that left front wheel rather, just below the yellow line. Not quite the penalties. Not quite what we're going to be looking for in terms of penalties, but whatever the officials say goes.
Yeah, no improvement from that attempt either. And I believe that might do it for qualifying unless they're letting everybody get another run.
Yep, I believe it improved just by 0.3. But as it stands right now, Cam, your pole sitter, with a 25.3, followed by Mebel, just about 5 to 8 tenths.
Yep, and join us tomorrow for the IndyCar EDRS IndyCar Series Round 7 at Phoenix. It is race time starting around 2:30 to 40 p.m. Eastern. As I think Blob's gonna make another attempt here.
That Blob is indeed going to be making another attempt. He wants to catch up to Mebel and maybe even Cam. Just 1700ths of a second slower there.
And to the line, here he goes. Gonna try to get the 17 tenths back on Mabel, going to their in-car Cam. Getting it really close to that wall, but a great corner through turns 1 and 2.
Yep, the server has been unlocked, so I do believe they're gonna try to get more drivers in here to qualify. But as he comes up to the line, doesn't look like it's gonna be any improvement on that first lap.
And these drivers are just trying to figure out what Cam is doing different to get so much more time than everybody else.
Yep, I don't think they're doing that so far. I don't think they're doing a good job of that so far, rather.
Yeah.
Cam's doing a good job of keeping that a secret. Up to the line, no improvement for Blob. As it stands, he will start third tomorrow.
And back to the field. I believe we will have Mabel, maybe Cam run another lap. But Cam's already gotten such a great time on the track. Might want to save that car for tomorrow.
Yeah, if I was Cam, I would be saving that car for tomorrow. I wouldn't try to burn myself out with qualifying laps.
Yep.
And we still have to factor in the fast lane and the slow lane. So.
Yep, and yeah, we do have one person qualifying. It's Roblox Pro there, maybe making an attempt, and Daw as well is here. So we have a bunch more qualifiers to go. I believe Daw will be first up next as they get ready out of the garage.
They did have a few mistakes last week at Detroit, so we'll see if they try to We'll see if they try to improve on their performance from last week.
Yeah, they had major issues at the beginning of the race. Had to go to the garage and fell 14 or so laps down at the beginning. Got all those laps back and ended up with a decent finish, maybe top 5 if I remember correctly. But here they come in that 99. We can see that sponsor, Speed of Light machine.
Yep, and that onboard cam sponsored by Saint Honoré. Yep, I probably done butchered the French pronunciation of that,
No,
but
that sounded pretty good. I don't think I'd be able to say it that well.
anyways, that onboard cam. That cockpit cam sponsored by whatever I had said before.
Yeah.
Honoré.
Here they come, great line on their outlap. And I do not believe they are in that top 5 in points, however. They definitely do have time to catch back up, especially with drivers in that top 5 and not showing up recently.
Yep, especially also with it being round 7 out of however many races we have. I believe that this guy, Dom, is going to have such an amazing time trying to get that claw back in the point standings.
And here he comes. Down through his qualifying lap. Can they edge out Mabel or Blob? They will go 4th, around 3/10 behind them both. So going through.
Yeah, but that's only
2.
that's only his first lap, like you said. See how that number 99 machine can't try to improve on that time.
Through the dog leg, much better line through here. You can tell they have a lot more speed, and they will get ahead of Blob, tying with a 24.
He ties Blob.
Daw will
So
get the tiebreaker.
right now, both Blob and Dom, 1700 slower than Mebel.
Yeah, and Cam blowing everybody else out the water with time that's around 8/10 faster. And here comes Cam again. Gonna attempt a rerun qualifying attempt number 2. They already have the pole. Can they extend that distance even more? We'll see. As we...
A beautiful exit of turn 2, that was. Through the dog leg, out of turn 4, up to the line. They don't improve right now, but like you said before, that's their first lap.
Going to their in-car camera, you can see how they get a little loose in the corner, but as some people, at least from NASCAR, say loose is fast, especially at a shorter track like this, Phoenix.
Yep, and as I've said before earlier in the broadcast, unlike NASCAR, they are not allowed to dip below the yellow line off of the finish line. That might also be a result as to why you see slightly slower times than the NASCAR guys.
Yeah. Here they come around turn 3 and 4. They're hard into the wall. That's not going to be improvement. They're going to have to go back into pit road. That was their second lap. And no improvement for Cam. They're likely going to pull it back in. And
right now, if I'm Cam, I'm going to see how I can't try to improve my lap. I'm going to watch the other drivers and watch their lines and see how I'm faster or slower than them.
here comes...
So I'm able to... So I'm able to get my lap faster.
Yeah, and here comes that number 11 Lapo Global car. If you look at that, Lapo Global in-car cams that come onto their outlap there. Close second, around 8/10 faster, like we said, it's slower than Cam. Can they make up that time here? At least a little bit. They already had their rerun. They did not improve at all. But here they come for their second rerun.
That Lapo as we look at that Lapo Global onboard camera, we'll see that he's holding the wheel pretty good. Alright, force it to the left to get to that yellow line. Not quite able to do so out of the lead.
And they just get too tight to the middle of the corner, aren't able to carry that speed, and they're going to brake to make up for that tightness. And as you see, they go way low into the dog leg, into the line. Improvement, around 2/10 faster, maybe 1/10 faster. 24.2.
About out of 10, as you said. Coming out of 3 into the dog leg. Now up to the line. What's it gonna be? It's another improvement, about 200ths of a second that time.
Yep.
It just goes to show how precious this time is.
And I think Mr. Jam and that C Sports number 71 for their third rerun attempt, or second rerun attempt. Right now they are last, around 6/10 fast, or 6/10 slower than Durser in 5th. We'll see if they can make anything up. Having some issues exiting pit road.
Oh, slamming hard into the wall.
That is detrimental. They're gonna have to take a backup car for the race tomorrow, and maybe some lag issues for them. So we could see Blob getting the heads up to go.
Yep, like you said, Mr. Jam did have issues exiting pit road. He just ran straight into the wall. I'm not sure what caused that, whether it be lag or another factor.
Yep. And
but that number 71 machine is going to have to be a backup.
here comes Blob out of pit road again for their second rerun attempt. Still trying to break that tie that Daw and Blob have at a 24.367 right now. Daw's a tiebreaker for third. Here comes Blob. They have more experience, more practice on the track than Daw's had. can they use that to their advantage?
Yep, looking much more faster out of the dog leg. No improvement, however.
Going to that in-car cam. Interesting
What?
line. That might be enough to be the tiebreaker.
It might. Dipping way below the yellow line out of into the dog leg and crossing the line. Still no improvement from Blob.
And I'm not even sure what these drivers need to do to break 24 seconds of their qualifying times, besides Cam. And it looks like nobody knows what Cam is doing better than them. To the line. No improvement yet again.
Blob just needs to find something if he wants any chance of catching Mebel and Cam.
And yeah, if we go back to our championship standings, Cam on the pole with much better lap times than everybody else is the worst case scenario for Drift. Drift may or may not be able to attend tomorrow, and even if they do, they'll be starting in the back. So Cam can easily run away with a 20 or so point lead again with a good day tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be watching that, and we'll be seeing how that does turn out.
Speaking Cam, third rerun attempt. Going to that in-car cam. Run 2 exclusively here for the EDRS Indycar Series on C Sports.
A beautiful line. Well, I'm not quite sure what Cam is doing differently. Whether he's just fighting the wheel, purposely getting loose by that wheel, or whatever the case may be. But whatever he's doing is giving him some results.
Yeah, and you could see in that in-car cam, they're staying in Gear 5 the entire time. All the other drivers have gone to Gear 4 at least one point through turns 1 and 2. They're at Gear 5 the whole time. They're able to stay off that wall. So these drivers have some notes to take going into race day.
They certainly do.
Mabel out here yet again, third qualifying attempt, third rerun attempt. Looking to make another improvement. Last rerun attempt, they were able to improve from a 24.35 to 24.21 and change as they come to their first qualifying attempt.
No improvement, it seems like.
Go to their lap of global in-car cam. You can see, look at that, they're at Gear 4. Cam was able to stay at Gear 5 the entire time through the corner, so just not good throttle and management of that car through the corner. So you see, even in these corners, he goes into Gear 4, and Cam was still at Gear 5 the entire time as well.
That side, he stayed in the Gear 5 rather. Yep, contact with the wall. That's gonna cause him to downshift, slowing his lap down.
Into the line, still no improvement from Mabel again on that attempt. Next up might be Dove for their first rerun attempt. You can see their first qualifying attempt, they got a 24.36 with Blob. And now we'll see what happens next here. Reminder of our qualifying format for new viewers. You can see that 18 cars, 2 laps. There are no resets. Everybody qualifies in reverse championship order. 45 minutes of total qualifying time. As we see now, only 5 minutes are left in a single session. Fast lane drivers get to skip the queue, however they lose any lap they set before. In slow lane, which I believe is that red line, or the green line, Driver must wait longer, however, they don't lose their previous lap time. Actually, I think that's the green. You can see the fast and slow lane in pit road, that red and green. Fast is green, slow is red. Slow, you don't lose your previous lap time. Green, you do lose your previous lap time. Anyways, back to it. Dawes out.
Yep, and as you said, the guys in the slow lane not gonna lose their time, but the number 10 machine, he is if he does go out again. Well, we look at Dom into 1, keeping a nice and tight line at the bottom, coming back up. Coming back up to the wall, same thing into 3 and out of 4 with a dog leg. We'll see if that's improvement.
Not quite.
It doesn't look like it.
Actually, on the lap before,
yes,
they
it
did
is.
improve to 24.2. We did miss that while discussing the qualifying format, but on their first lap, they did improve to break that tie with Blob. And looks like in that fast lane, next driver to go will be Blob. They will lose their previous lap time of a 24.36, and they will get to attempt again. 3 minutes left in this qualifying session.
Yep, he might still be slower as he does go into gear 4 into the corner rather. Into 3, he goes down to 4 again.
I don't think Blob
The dog
is
leg.
just on the pace.
No improvement for Blob.
Yep.
Or for Blob.
So their car can you see they're slowing down way too much into the 140 range. Other drivers are only down to the 150, so big differences between how much drivers are slowing down here, and it doesn't look to be benefiting Blob either.
Oh, it doesn't. With the dog leg again. Again, no improvement.
Here they go, their last qualifying lap, and this is probably their 3rd or 4th rerun they've had. They've been out here all day.
Yep, just trying to claw through the valuable seconds they need to get up to Dom.
Yeah, and he just slams into the wall there. Out of the 4th corner. Does not improve.
With that, Dom subsequently breaks the tie for 3rd with a 24.2.
And Blob loses time. I think that qualifying lap they just set was slower, so they will have to give up that 24.3 they had earlier since they were in that fast lane. And Cam hasn't had to give anything up as they've been sitting in that slow lane the whole time.
I think this is part of his strategy. If he's not going to have to give anything up, then he's going to be able to keep his pole time of a 23.5 rather.
And here comes Cam. 23.5 so far. This will be their last attempt as the time in the session is down to 1.5 minutes.
Yep, beautiful line through 1 and 2 onto the backstretch and into 3 through the dog leg. We'll see if he improves here. Not quite, but that is a beautiful lap.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out is their car, you can hear it getting loose, you can hear those tires screeching, but they aren't braking so much to where you can go to 4th gear. You can see now they're in 4th gear. The lap before their out lap they weren't. So they are good at working that car loose, being able to drive with a little bit of some understeer as they go tight across the racetrack, but here they come.
Yep, and he's not gonna improve on that out lap, obviously, but on the first times lap, we'll see. Getting loose again, but staying in 5th gear.
And will not improve there. Last qualifying attempt will probably go to Daw in that fast lane. They will have to give up that 24.246 if they don't improve here. So big development as Daw can easily lose that 3rd place time they have currently.
That most certainly, but we'll see. The 1 and 2 Quite the interesting line. Staying in the middle part of the track, not going high or low. Same thing. The slightest bit of contact, no improvement, and the red flag is out here at Phoenix because of the end of the session.
They will be allowed to finish their laps, so that will be it for qualifying, I believe. Here it comes around again on the backstretch, their second lap, I believe.
That RDH racing machine not improving again.
And I think that was their first lap. Here they come for their second lap. They're going to need to improve to keep that third spot. No, that's it.
That's gonna be it. Cam, you're a pole sitter for Phoenix.
Yep, and we're just going to wait for confirmation to make sure that was it for qualifying and get an interview with our pole sitter. We will be right back on C Sports for post-qualifying festivities.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to C Sports coverage of qualifying here at Phoenix for the EDRS Indycar series. Right now, we're gonna get to our post-qualifying interviews. And first up, we have Mr. Cam. Cam, how are you doing, my guy?
I'm doing very good. Very good.
Awesome. You qualified pole. That 23.5 really did help you. Do you think that's gonna help you when it comes to racing tomorrow? Trying to stay ahead?
Yeah, because I think it helps with pace to show that I have a lot of pace no matter what. And that's what pole's for. I have a good amount of pace. So I know I can set constant 23s and 24s, so we'll see.
What's your secret to getting that 23.5 that nobody else could figure out?
This is the line. The line and where you need to get on back on the throttle and where to brake. That's all it is.
And Creator, if you have questions, feel free to ask.
And yeah, how do you feel? You currently have a 4-point lead over Drift in the championship standings. How are you planning to increase that gap as Drift is not at the moment planning to show up? How are you going to try to clinch the championship in these next few races by staying ahead of Drift?
Finishing either close to him or ahead of him and winning would be the best ideal thing. Him not showing up would be perfect. But honestly, I just try to outperform him. That's all I have. That's my goal.
All right, and Immortal, you have anything else?
Nothing else for me. Thank you for joining us, Cam. If you could get Neville in here, that'd be amazing.
All right, I will. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Alright.
you've heard it first from Cam. We're gonna go ahead and head over to the number 11 machine for an interview with Neville. Oh, how are you doing?
I am quite fine, thank you.
Good. You were a few hundredths faster than Dom. Do you think that's gonna Do you think that's gonna be a problem with you having to fight Dom?
I feel like the laps I set was not very good, and with some practice I can easily pull away from him during the race, so I hope I can just stay behind Cam in the race.
Peter, anything you want to ask?
Oh yeah, right now, looking at our championship point standings, it looks like you are for 17 points behind Cam. How do you plan to get into the top during points as Hydrax is not supposed to show up and carry this momentum through the next few races and maybe even have a shot at the championship?
Well, I probably just wanna get above Hydrax. Drift and Cam are just on a different level to me. I don't think I'll be able to contend against them, but if I can get a P3 in the championship, I'll be very happy with that.
Alright, and Immortal, anything else?
Yep, you mentioned trying to fight Hydrax. Hydrax did not show today. Do you think that if he does show, he'll be a threat to you?
He will have to do pit start, so it'll be very tough for him to actually be a threat. So I hope I can just stay above him in the race if he shows up.
All right, thank you for your time today, and best of luck tomorrow. If you could get Dom to come up here, that'd be great.
Yep.
Alright.
Have you heard it first from Nebel? Nebel's gonna, Hydrax is rather gonna have to do a pit start, but it'll be unlikely that Hydrax, if he does join, is going to catch up to this number 11 machine.
And now we do have inside the VC, the EDRS IndyCar Series owner here, Fennec. Anything you would like to say going to the race tomorrow?
Well, I think it's going to be a interesting race for sure. Phoenix, we did multiple preseason test races here just to get the cars tested and see how they handle and stuff. And it was a great race. We had passes within the hundreds, lots of lead changes, and just in general, it's a great track for strategy battles and just raw pace and just raw on track passing. I think it's going to be one of those classics maybe of the season. Gateway has been a great race, and I hope it just repeats it here at the Gateway.
Yeah, do you think we're gonna be seeing a whole lot of lead changes?
Honestly, with the pace that Cam has been able to set, I don't really know. But with push to pass and different strategies, I do think some people could get a few passes done on him throughout the race. Maybe on the restarts or on the starts. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
All right.
And how is that push to pass influencing even more strategy within these races, as drivers are now having to not only manage fuel, their tires, but as well as push to pass? How is that going to make a big difference coming into the oval of Phoenix?
Well, if you guys, well, of course you guys saw Detroit, and the push to pass was very big on the straights, and you could see that the leaders could save. Drift was almost full heading into the last quarter of the race on his push to pass. Meanwhile, everybody at the back who were battling were almost completely out, which, like in the Dom's case, he was almost out, which made him struggle at the end to get that pass for the podium position, and unfortunately he did not get it. So that's like one of the things you'll notice. I think people, if they drain their push to pass a lot, they could get some passes in the beginning or just the net position. But later in the race, after a restart or something, that could hurt him a lot. So I think we're going to see drivers using push to pass on the restarts a lot, and maybe closer to the end of the race if they learn from their previous mistakes.
All right. Thank you for your time, Mr. Fennec.
Yep. Thank you guys for being here and helping us out today. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for the 200 laps at Phoenix Raceway.
We'll see you tomorrow. This is going to be an absolutely interesting and fun race, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I should say. But that's going to do it here at Phoenix for EDRS Indycar Phoenix qualifying. We'll be back tomorrow at 2:30 to 40 p.m. Eastern for the race.
That's all. See y'all tomorrow.
This telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or re-uploaded in any form without giving explicit credit to C Media, the featured properties under its C Sports division, and the sanctioning bodies featured in this presentation.